I try to play it a little more fair and balanced with this, but I don't feel like it this time. They want to kill him because all the people in charge of making these decisions are terrified of him. That's the reason why. It's that simple. Let's not pretend like you can pretend this is being done in some kind of ambivalent bureaucratic like, well, actually, logically, it makes sense for the staff. No, they're doing it because of what he represents. Let's not fool around with that, okay? But yeah, so the federal counts, murder using a firearm, 2 counts of stalking, and an additional firearms offense. And they also got his notebook, apparently, which contains planning, which goes back months to conduct the assassination, which makes sense. You don't conduct an assassination like that on a whim. Obviously, that was very, very pre-planned. You know, assuming they prove it was him. They realize killing him will make him a martyr, right? I mean, people already love him. I saw a survey recently that for people, I think it was under the age of 25, more than half of them surveyed either supported Luigi or had no opinion on him. Meaning that within the for 18 to 29, thank you, 18 to 29, you've seen the same thing. 18 to 29, within that group range, more people either support or ambivalent towards him than voted for Kamala Harris within that age range. Or to put it another way, there's a significant number of people within that group, even if you assume every single person 18 to 29 who supported Kamala Harris also supports Luigi Mangione, which is not true, there would still be additional people in the 18 to 29 demographic who voted for Trump who also support Luigi Mangione or are ambivalent towards him. Pretty crazy. Yeah, he's got bipartisan support with the young ones. Have you seen someone stabbed a CEO in a meeting? Yeah, I saw the headline for that, you know, in apparent copycat killing, something like that. Yeah. You got that? Thank you. It's pretty remarkable. 18 to 29. 33% thought it was completely unacceptable. 7% thought it was somewhat unacceptable, which means that a full, robust 60% of the 18 to 29 demographic are either neutral on the assassination of a CEO or find it acceptable or somewhat acceptable. Again, pretty remarkable, you know? Obviously, the older you get, the less, well, I won't say based, the less supportive of this you get. Vaush falls right outside this age range. Yeah, that's true. I fit in the less agreeable 30 to 39 demographic. It's pretty wild. What else? Well, on way to the federal arraignment, they threaded his eyebrows and gave him a shave and a haircut. You know, again, like another phenomenal move. Yeah, you know, like keep in mind, Luigi's appearance is pretty heavily tied to support for him. Obviously, he's hot. But like the New York Times editorial team saying there is no longer any value in showing his appearance. Okay, can you think for a second about how insane that is? Think of how common it is for high-profile killers or, you know, politicians, heroes, villains, whatever else, to have their faces shown because it brings in clicks or brings in, like, ratings, you know, reviews, in news publications. For the New York Times to say, no, we're not going to show his face anymore, why do you think they did that? Because they get their orders from on high, they have an ideological agenda that extends beyond just making money. Their agenda is not just raking in dollars. It is also like a class interest that extends beyond the financial interests of the company specifically. If the New York Times was interested in making as much money as possible, they would be throwing his sculpted face everywhere, all over the place. But they said not to because it makes him look sympathetic because he's beautiful. Their agenda is so obvious. Yeah, it's like watching every single Western media outlet simultaneously employ the exact same passive language when talking about Israel, you know? Like, oh, 57 civilians killed in hospital. Hospital bombing kills 57 Palestinian civilians, says Hamas. Yeah, we get it. We know. And they all do the same thing. And it's because, again, it's not just the one company with their one financial interest. There is a broader system at play, and they know who's in charge. The military-industrial complex does not want you sympathizing with Palestinians, and they do not want you sympathizing with Luigi Mangione. Not even a little bit. Not even a smidge. I used to subscribe to New York Times. Sorry. And when you leave, they beg you to stay and offer you a super cheap sub rate. They're not for profit anymore. Well, it's not just like whether or not they're for profit. It's think about how much money they make, the powers that be, by way of manufacturing consent. Elon has not made any money back on his Twitter purchase. He's only lost money. But because he purchased Twitter, he turned it into a propaganda machine that led to Trump's win. And since Trump's win, he's gained $200 billion. He's worth $500 billion now. News companies don't have to operate at a profit. They're utilities for the people who run them. They operate at a loss to their benefit. Yeah, he's president now. For $40 billion, he was able to buy the influence to become, you know, far wealthier than he was before. I love the spooky music. The federal charges shit is crazy, though. They are probably going to push for the death penalty. Oh, by the way, I do love this. This is crazy to me. New York City or New York Police Department police. What the the only explanation that I have for this is that people are so stupid they don't know what NYPD means. Like, what other explanation do you have for that? NYPD police? Yeah, Eric Adams. Oh, they even told the courtroom artist to make him look bad. That's really funny. I wonder if they had to tell him that, like, personally. Like, hey, make him look ugly. Because, you know, like, capitalism or whatever. Yeah, he looks like a 55-year-old man here. It's crazy. Yeah, Eric Adams was present when they gave him the walk. Is he present in this photo? He's present in one of the photos and videos. He should be somewhere in this crowd, but he might not be visible within this frame. Yeah, everyone's in there. He's right behind. Oh yeah, there he is. He's got his head poking out right behind Luigi. There you go. He's like a crescent moon. Do you think it'd be worse for CEOs if he gets the death penalty? I don't know. All I know is that they're fucking terrified. Didn't Kathy Hochul, probably mispronouncing her name. I don't care about her, so I don't really care if I mispronounce her name. Didn't she literally like put in line a CEO hotline so she could give like therapy and safety to the, yeah. New York governor roasted for setting up CEO hotline for frightened executives after Luigi Mangione shooting. This wasn't the only thing, too. There was like a group therapy, or like she held a meeting with a bunch of New York executives to like reassure them they want the homeless to die. I can like the crazy thing to me about this is that even if you're some kind of like stick up your ass liberal who hates Luigi because he's, I don't know, rude or whatever, how can you defend the supposed impartiality of the justice system when stuff like this is going on? Like, one man gets, people die all the time. Does that normally lead to like the entire capital class falling behind federal charges, death penalty, the mayor present for his arraignment, you know, walking behind him, CEO hotline to reassure everyone else? Like, come on. If nothing else, like, this is the strongest affirmation that I have ever seen of the classic lefty. It's a two-tier justice system, you know? You know, there are liberals who unironically think that's not true. Like, there are people who are so hopelessly devoted to the perceived legitimacy of the system that they will actually argue, in spite of all evidence to the contrary, like all empirical evidence, that it's a two-tier justice system. They will pretend that it's like, oh no, this is just like the system's working the way that it should, you know? It's crazy. Whatever. Liberalism is a dying ideology. There will be fewer and fewer people like that every year. Yeah. You kill a mentally ill homeless man, you get to meet the next president. You kill a CEO whose decision to implement an AI software that automatically denies claims for an insurance for like your insurance company. You get like, you know, terrorism charges and perp walked and so on and so forth. You mean neoliberalism, not liberalism? No, like neoliberalism is just like the consequence of liberalism, right? Like liberalism's been on a fast track to that path for a while. It's kind of like the capitalism corporatism thing. There are ideological contradictions within liberalism that produces outcomes like this, you know? Like, liberals claim to love equality, but then they tout an economic system in which a small number of people have so, like, more power than God. Like, we are, like, in America today, Elon Musk has arguably more power and influence than almost any human being in all of history. But he's not an emperor. He's not a monarch. Somehow, without adopting any of the technical terms, any of the nobility, any of the status or titles that you would get with older systems, he has accrued more power than any of them. The King of England in 1492 had nowhere near as much power as Elon Musk does today. Not proportional to their system then, or like in an absolute sense now. And it's a direct consequence of liberalism. I mean, this is your economic system, bro. This is on you. You put it in, yeah, people warned you. We warned you about capital accumulation, dog. Keep falling down the stairs. Anyway, good luck to Luigi, I suppose. They're throwing the book at him. Here's a look at the